Hello and welcome to a Talmud Israeli production. Today we'll review the highlights of this week's course of Daf Yomi study, Masechet Gittin, pages 5 through 11. Daf A. Barhedya Baila Tuye Gita. Barhedya wanted to bring a divorce document from outside the land of Israel to the land of Israel. Atal Kamed Rabbi Achi, the Munagiti. So he approached Rabbi Achi, who was the administrator of Gittin. Amar le tzrich ata lamad al kol ot ve'ot. So his question was, how much of the writing process is it necessary for the agent to witness in order to be able to legitimately say that it was written and signed in my presence? And the answer he was given is you have to see every last line being written. There's no cutting corners. He went to Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi, and they said, no, you don't need to see everything. It's enough to just see one line written, and that's sufficient to justify making the declaration. And if you want to say, I'll do it, be strict, and watch every last line being written just as a matter of stringency, that's not good, because that will result in casting aspersions on the earlier Gittin, where the Chumrah, the stringency, was not employed. And you don't want to cast aspersions on previous Gittin, and thus result in having children possibly be considered Mamzerim, who are not really Mamzerim at all. Daf Amrav Chisda. A person should never create a situation in their household where there's an extraordinary amount of fear, overdue reverence, to the point of real fear. Because after all, in the story of the concubine of Giva, Pilegesh Begiva is the most ugly story in the entire Hebrew Bible, where very bad things happened and a tribe of Israel was nearly destroyed. It began because of Ema Yetera, because there was too much fear in the household. And thousands of Jews died. So don't be overbearing and causing fear in your own home. Dav Zayin. Amar Rabbi Abahu. A person should not impose too much fear in his household, because one great man once did that. They caused him to eat something non-kosher, something terribly non-kosher. Umanu, and who was this person? Hanania ben Gamliel. It was a big rabbi, Hanania ben Gamliel. So are you going to tell me that he really ate the non-kosher? After all, we have a tradition that even the animals of the righteous don't end up sinning. Also, all the more so the righteous themselves. So how could it be that this Rabbi Hanina ben Gamliel actually ate a non-kosher piece of food? Rather, what happened was they nearly gave it to him. They attempted to give it to him. And what was this forbidden item? Aver minachai, the limb of a live animal. Dafchet. Shlosha drachim shavta sur l'eretz Yisrael, v'shlosha l'chutz l'eretz. The land of Syria, which is the land to the north and east of Israel, which was conquered by King David and annexed to the Jewish kingdom, has in some ways the halachic status of the land of Israel, and in other ways the halachic status of beyond the border. So, in the following ways, it is like beyond the border. Afra tame, the dirt is impure. If you sell your Canaanite servant to beyond the border to Syria, it's like you were going to the diaspora. If you get Misurim and if you bring a divorce document from Syria, you have to use the formula, the declaration of like it was coming from the diaspora. But in three ways, it's like the land of Israel. You're obligated to give Maser and observe the sabbatical laws of Shavit like it was Israel. And if you want to enter in a state of purity, you can. And if you buy property in Syria, it's like buying property in the suburbs of Jerusalem, insofar as you can tell a non-Jew to write the sale document even on Shabbat. Daftet. Shriv meira shekatav kol nechasav le'avdo. What happens if a deathly ill man writes all of his possessions over to his slave, his Canaanite slave? Yamad v'chazar, and then he got better, he didn't die, and he tried to undo the gift. He's allowed to undo the gift with regard to the nechasim, the possessions. However, he cannot undo the emancipation of the slave. Why? He could undo the gift of the possessions because, in general, the law of the matnat shchiv meira is that if the guy recovers, then the gift is a non-gift, since he only intended to give it away on the premise that he was going to die. The fact that he's now alive and didn't die means this was never his intention. However, he cannot revert and undo the emancipation of the slave, because this man now had a name about him of a ben chorin, of a free person, and we can't undo that kind of change of status. Daf Yud 10. Matzah Kutin Muteret. The matzah of a Kuthian, of a Samaritan, is permissible on Pesach. And a person could fulfill his obligation of eating matzah on Pesach by eating the matzah made by a Kuthian. Rabbi Elazar However, Rabbi Elazar said, no, you cannot use that matzah because the Kuthians are not expert in the minor details of mitzvah observance. So Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, no, those mitzvahs which the Kuthians do, they do it with great detail, great attention to detail, even more so than the Jews do. So when we can rely upon them, we can really rely upon them. Yud Aleph. Gittin abayim b'medinat hayam, v'edim chatum aleim. Let's say you have a divorce document coming from a faraway place outside of Israel, and there are witnesses that signed it. Even though these witnesses have names that sound like non-Jewish names, the get is kosher. Because most Jews beyond the borders of Israel have Gentile-sounding names. And so for an American Jew who has an English name and a separate Hebrew name, and they're not the same name, this is readily understandable that we live in a non-Hebrew speaking culture, and we're very likely to have first names that are similar to the rest of the people in society. Everyone have a great week.